Now, the CDC director's comments today come just days after Governor Whitmer asked Michiganders to voluntarily take a 2-week pause.
She stopped just short of a mandated shutdown and insists vaccines are the key to ending this surge. And today she spoke at a vaccine event to address questions about whether shutdowns would come. Rod Maloney was there with the governor today. And Rod, you specifically asked about a scenario that would trigger a shutdown.
That's right. We wanted to know what the governor is thinking in those terms. And as it stands right now, after she toured the Convocation Center here at Eastern Michigan University, where she saw vaccinations being doled out today, she basically said that as things stand right now, she doesn't see a need for a full shutdown.
But here's where we are. Instead of a year ago where this was a novel virus where we didn't even know that a mask was going to give us 97% protection, we had to take strong actions to keep people safe. We now know a lot more about this.
Local 4 asked the governor if there was an actual trigger to reinstate previous restrictions, and her answer was, in effect, things are different now.
We know that we are at the end of, close to the end of this saga, if we all do our part, and that's why we're going to continue to call on people to do that and not go back to those same kind of protocols because we're in a different moment.
Yet that answer came before the CDC director's remarks came out. So we asked the governor's office for a clarification, and here's the response in part, quote, "As our nation's top health experts have said, this is not a failure of policy, but rather a compliance, variant, and mobility issue, which is why it's important for us to ramp up vaccinations as quickly as possible," end quote. On Wednesday, the Myosha workplace restrictions are going to expire, and the governor did say she is going to extend them for another 6 months.
When we do extend them, which we will, people are going to think that that means you can't go into the office for another 6 months, and that's not the case. But by law, we have to give this second extension so that we've got some of the tools.
And so the governor being optimistic here in terms of being able to get ahead of all of this and the rising hospitalizations and so forth, she's still saying, and she believes that stopping school sports, not going to restaurants, and also having schools, particularly high schools, going virtual is still the answer. Back to you.
So, Rod, I want to ask you this. The governor and the state legislature have continuously been sparring on these issues. Where does that stand now?
Well, the governor took another swipe at the legislature today because they had a bill that would have essentially have already shut down a lot of the restaurants in the state. She doesn't want to do that. And so we're going to take a look at that logjam, the Lansing logjam, I call it, as we've seen consistently that the governor and the legislature remain at odds. And we'll hear from both sides on that subject.
Okay, we look forward to your report at 6. Rod, we appreciate it.